Welcome back to another episode of Out of Bounds, a podcast talking about different issues and topics in today's society. I'm your host, Terry, and today I gotta talk about Fyre Fest. I'm I was really excited to talk about it, to be honest with you. So if you don't know about Fyre Fest, there is two documentaries that just recently came out, one on Netflix and then one on Hulu. And I forgot the name. I think it's just Fyre Fest on Netflix, and Hulu is like Fyre Fraud, and it's Fyre, Fyre. So this is the documentary about I forgot what year it was, maybe 2016, something like that, where there was this promoted musical festival that was supposed to be on a remote island. And, I don't know. It was just some like the biggest event of the year. Like everyone kept comparing it to the next Coachella. I don't even really know what Coachella is still. So whatever. If you know what Coachella is, that's what it's supposed to be. Just this exclusive event where I guess a bunch of rich kids go, I don't know, listen to music, do a bunch of drugs, whatever. Just like any other of these music festivals. So, but it was supposed to be different. It was supposed to be this one of a kind thing with, you know, yachts and supermodels and all these musical guests and these real luxurious villas, all these different things. And so it was promoted, it sold tickets, all these different things, and then eventually ended up being horrible, where it basically fell apart and none of the stuff was real and ended up getting canceled, and people were kind of stuck on this island and no way to get home. And yeah, it just, to the extent of how bad it is, you can watch the documentaries if you haven't. And I vaguely remember, like, when it started, kind of what they promised you and what you got, or what they sold you and what you actually got, or something like that. Because they were talking about the food. They were supposed to have 5-star meals, and they had like cheese sandwiches. Some people were saying they had bologna sandwiches. I don't know. So I vaguely remember it, but honestly, it went past me. I didn't really think much of this at the time when it happened. So, and it wasn't that long ago. Again, this was probably about, 3 or 4 years ago. So anyway, that's what Fyre Fest is. So we gotta talk about this. This is a perfect example of something that I always will say on this show, and I always say, is two things can be true at once. In this society, we tend to want to lean towards the extreme. Whose fault is it? Some people say, well, clearly the people that falsely advertise, it's their fault. Some people say, well, the people shouldn't bought tickets, it's their fault, without actually knowing what they was getting into. And again, two things can be true at once. Everybody wants to blame somebody. This is a perfect example, because for me, yes, I absolutely, the guy, Billy McFarland, that was the mastermind behind this and did a lot of illegal, shady stuff. He ended up getting sentenced to jail, and he was probed by the FBI. He should have went to jail 100%, and anybody else that got sentenced should. But that does not absolve everybody that went to Fyre Fest. And this is what I'm talking about, whether it's the R. Kelly situation, whether it's anything we talk about. Where is this line between personal responsibility and the powers that be, if you will? So a lot of people in our social issues want to focus on structure, because there used to be so much focus on individual. Like, you inherently are bad. Bad things happen to you because you're inherently bad. And they want to flip the conversation to, well, bad things are happening because you were historically set up to fail in this country, in the US, of course. And so people create this dichotomy where it's either one or the other, the extreme. It's who you gonna blame, this person or that person. And then that compounded by the issue of sexual assault and harassment, all that, where the term victim blaming comes up. And so now, to even remotely suggest that any type of responsibility is happening on the victim side is to say that, oh, well, you're condoning what the other person said. And we talked about this before. So that's the situation that we live in society. And to me, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Life is not black and white. It's a lot more complex than that. It's a whole bunch of colors. And so as reasonable adults, we should be able to say, Billy McFarland did wire fraud. He did this. He lied about this. All illegal. Should go to jail. And still tell these young kids that wanted to go do something that was going to, I guess, be the coolest thing ever, but didn't actually look into it, that they have some responsibility too. So I think between the two documentaries, you get a nice view of a lot of different perspectives. But there was this like response in social media and media where people were like, that's rich people problems. Oh, well, I'm not going to feel bad for a bunch of rich kids that got scammed. Like, actually, it feels good. It's pretty funny. And of course, there's the other bunch of people just like sue them. And so I honestly, I'm with both. Like, yeah, you definitely should sue who you can sue because, they tricked you. But at the same time, I'm with the other camp. Like, it's funny to see y'all get caught up because when you let the allure of this status and this allure of this lifestyle, or even if you actually live that lifestyle, but you let the allure of being around celebrities coax you into doing things that you aren't fully understanding, then I don't feel bad for you. You have the capacity as a grown adult to research this. These tickets, if you haven't seen it, were going for around $20,000 on average. So if you had $20,000 to spend on this festival, but you don't know how to look into stuff, I don't feel bad for you. And then on top of that, there was somebody, I forgot, he was like a financial advisor or something, and he was connected to somebody going on this trip or one of the headliners. I don't know. But anyway, he kind of was the first one to figure it out and started a Twitter and like kind of like was getting actual photos. So it started out on one island. They ended up getting kicked out because they didn't follow the terms of the contract. And so they had to find another island, but they continued to promote it as a remote island, and it wasn't a remote island. So this guy had somebody fly over and take actual pictures. He's telling people like, this is fake. This part is fake. It's not true. And he was like, I got 3 clicks or whatever. No one cared. And that's my whole thing. Not only the information was available to you to go find, but somebody was actively trying to give you the information and you didn't care. Cause all you could think about was saying that I went to Fyre Fest. All you could think about was all those pictures you were going to take. The reason there's so much footage of what happened, cause you got all these people with selfie sticks. And I'll admit it right now, I hate people with selfie sticks. It's not as bad as it used to be, but at that time it was big. So you have all this footage cause all these people came with selfie sticks, ready to pose, try to get their Instagram, like this whole social media world we live in at its worst, the worst of the worst, all coming together. And it feels good to watch them get tricked. But anyway, the point is you got swept up in that you let logic go out the window. And so how am I supposed to feel bad about that? Now, one of the biggest like conversations, I guess this is all about, is the influence of social media. Now, I guess these wannabe stars are called social media influencers because I don't like that term. I mean, it's probably true, but I think that's a symptom and a bigger worry to me that people are entitled influencers just because they are on social media. But you can't call them stars because they don't have real talents or anything. They're just people on social media that, I don't know, got famous for posting pictures of themselves, selfies, or they got famous for doing goofy videos. Who knows? So anyway, the whole thing was pushed behind this idea of social media influencers. So Fyre Fest put all their money into promoting it. They went to the island. They shot these promotional videos. They got like top 10 models in the world, which they don't really, those are the top 10 models. I guess that's what, the beauty standards are. But anyway, they got the top 10 names with the top 10 followings. They paid Kendall Jenner, or one of the Jenners, I don't know, honestly, $250,000. $250,000 just to tweet about Fyre Fest. She was not even there for the shoot. She tweeted, "Catch me at Fyre Fest" or whatever, and got paid $250K. And then it kind of spread on where there was this whole social media thing. You could watch the documentary, but the idea that you have a lot of people, some legit celebrities and legit talents, but a lot of them just kind of social media, Instagram fame, or I guess it wasn't Instagram back then, but Twitter famous. A lot of social media people, these regular people with big followings, was able to tweet and talk about Fyre Fest to the point that you had millions of dollars being paid to Billy and his team by people that wanted to go. Millions of dollars by people that wanted to go. And to want to go is not a crime. If I see some of my favorite celebrities and I see all this stuff, and I might want to be there. I want to be on a remote island. Yeah, chilling at the beach, whatever. I might want to be, not me personally, actually, because I don't like crowds like that, but you might want to be there. There's no crime in that. But to put that type of money into it and not actually know what's going on, I don't see an excuse. And so when we're talking about this society, like when we're talking about the societal issue, I mean, there has been no gain since then. Like, we're watching this and it's like, wow, that's crazy. That was 2016, 2015. That wasn't that long ago. Nothing has changed. So we look back and it's like, yeah, it's funny. Look at the pictures. Aha, Ja Rule was in it. Who thought Ja Rule was going to throw a crazy party? Like, all these jokes are fine, but realize that nothing has changed. Netflix did a good job at one point towards the end of the documentary and was like, this hasn't went away. It increased. They're talking about companies that have private jets and you can pay to have photo shoots. Like, legit, like, have champagne, you can dress well, you just sit on the jet and have photo shoots. Not like for a magazine or anything, for your own personal social media. You can have photo shoots just for you, like professional photos for you to post on your social media, to pretend as if you're on a private jet, to pretend as if you're going on an exotic vacation, to pretend that you live a lifestyle. And when you watch the documentary, you quickly see early on, that's what Billy was about. The guy that created the whole thing, he was about giving the perception and pretending to be in that lifestyle to the point that he felt he was in that lifestyle, even though he wasn't. And so a lot of the things he did with his companies and the startups and all the business he did was just fake. It was all superficial. It wasn't nothing real. And like some people talk about Trump, like the front of having all this money when the actual cash flow ain't there. And so the idea in this, I won't even say societal pressure, the societal temptation that some people give into started with Billy and grew into this monster. And so again, he did some illegal stuff. He went to jail. He should. But to act as if Billy created this in other people is absolutely ridiculous. He took advantage and tapped into people's insecurities and darkest parts of them where they knew they wanted to live that life too. Even you had people that didn't live that life but wanted to feel like it and put all their money into it. But then you have people whose parents and their wealth are in that lifestyle, but they needed to be there for the status. I need to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Kendall Jenner and Kanye West now going to be there. Why am I not going to be there? I'm in the same echelon. Of course they're not, but that's how they think. And so it is hard to feel bad for them, but I think it's a great commentary on the influence society has and social media has. Because again, you have people that they don't promote, like they're not even musicians. They're models. And they're talking about Fyre Fest. So cool. I mean, I could get it. Whatever. I could get it. You think professionals, there's some type of responsibility and trust that comes with it. And these are people you follow. But this was to the extent that people were just ignoring the clear signs. To the extent that people didn't want to hear the truth when the truth was being presented to them. That you went so far past giving somebody the benefit of the doubt that you just take it as song and gospel when celebrities tell you something. And there's so many people like that. Like the whole hashtag goals thing. I mean, I know that's exclusively celebrities, but a lot of times it is celebrities, hashtag goals. Because I can't think about my own life or what I should do in my own life. I got too busy fantasizing and fixate on other celebrities' lives. And it just, I think, was a commentary, the whole Fyre Fest, about our obsession with celebrities and with social media feeling like you're closer to them than ever, like they're talking to you when they tweet. And so everything they say, people hang on to their words. So for me, I think I look at Fyre Fest and the whole situation. I look at kind of all these different issues that came ahead and, you know, collided. But at the end of the day, I talk about, well, what's your personal responsibility versus what's the society's responsibility? And it is Billy and the corporation that he worked with and Ja Rule and everybody. It's their societal responsibility to follow the law and to do things proper within the framework. But then there's also your own responsibility of what you invest into, what you spend time and money into. I didn't get tricked into Fyre Fest. I don't know any friends that got tricked down to Fyre Fest because it wasn't the world we live in. It was above us. And even if it was, we wouldn't have the money to afford it. And even if we had the money to afford it, I would like to think we would have looked into it a little more. I mean, as much as people talk about being spontaneous and adventures, a lot of my friends and me included, like, there's so many things we don't do because we got to have too many facts. And that's just my group, but you spread it out to the people you know, you spread it out to the common person, because I guess our money's more valuable. And so what we spend it on, we got to be more discretional with. And so these people didn't have that in their life, so they just wanted to blow it. But okay, you decide to blow it, you get ripped off. Is it that, like, I mean, again, it's not your fault. You weren't like asking to get ripped off, but there's got to be some middle ground. To me, there's got to be some middle ground. So when I look at Fyre Fest at the end of the day, I say Billy and I'm going to jail. Absolutely 100%. I say rewarding civil suits. If it's me as a judge, I'm not giving any money to these kids. Like, yeah, he did some wire fraud, false advertised, this, that, and the other. But there was too much evidence out there for you to figure it out. And not to mention, if you had that much money, again, you should be looking into it. Like all these people like, oh, you know, you're going to be hearing from my lawyer. I got great lawyers. You got great lawyers. You need to have some great researchers or some great fact finders or something if you're going to be spending all this money. So for me, I would definitely give justice by putting Billy into jail, but I would never award any more money to kids who are already rich because they were damaged by it. Whatever. I thought it was funny to me. So anyway, go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about Fyre Fest. What does it say about this obsession with social media and celebrities? And do you think there's blame to go around on both sides, or are you in one camp or the other? Go to the comment section, share it around, get the convo started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and until next episode.